Wow, you've grown, haven't you? You're like taller than me now, and you're also positioned in a different spot. That's great for you. Anyway, TF2. It seems like every time I try to get something done, I'm always distracted by it. You see, I could go and edit this video, or I could cause some mischief by using the cloak and dagger to use voice lines while remaining invisible to just confuse the heck out of the enemy engineer. You see, I could write a script, or I could also use the cloak and dagger to stand in one spot so people bump into me and then fall down to their deaths. And you see, I could go to university and get an education, or... Do you like the wall of light that's behind this curtain? Yes, I know, it's very, professional lighting. You can kind of see my guitar now, eh? Oh, that's out of tune, hold on. Now it's on my bed. Let's play you a ditty. This is appropriate. That's not how the song goes. You know what I'm trying to reference. It's TF2, the engineer, meet the engineer. I am blind and I keep forgetting my script, so I always go like this, and then I jump cut, and then it's just like... Anyway, so that's why I'm always doing that, by the way. TF2 is unique in almost every way, so obviously it has its own unique death. You see, unlike most games, it did not die, its community did not die, it only died to the developers. For those of you unfamiliar with TF2, allow me to introduce you to the community. If you aren't new, then feel free to use the timestamps in the description if YouTube hasn't automatically made the chapters yet, to just skip past this point. Obviously, the gameplay, that's the first point we need to introduce you to. You see, what is a game without its game? You know, it wouldn't be a game. No community involved without the game. Here in the world of TF2, we have some really unique gameplay. You see, unlike 90% of other first-person shooters, we are not just a Call of Duty knockoff. Rather, we have some of the most unique mechanics that are actually fun, rather than just you have gun, shoot people. Don't get me wrong, that can be really fun, but it gets repetitive after like the 1000th game or so. There is near infinite amount of ways to play TF2, and the stress-free, silly environment of casual is perfect for playing around. You have basically the ability to test whatever you want out, but you will die. You will die a lot no matter what you play. You die, and then you die, and then you die. A lot of death in this game. But luckily, you do respawn basically instantly, depending on your team you're on as well, because one team spawns faster than the other in most game modes. You see, you have the option of Scout or Heavy, which are basically the classic point and shoot. However, they bring their own unique twist to the concept, such as Scout's fast, or Heavy being heavy and having a sandwich. He has a sandwich, so it makes it different from other shooters. There are also your classic explosion classes such as Soldier and Demoman. Really fun, there's a lot of explosions in the game, really silly, especially with the ragdolls. There are also the really unique classes such as Spy and Sniper, which, you know, really skill based but fun as well. The idea to be able to just go invisible and look like other players is really cool and unique to TF2. There's also Medic and Engineer, who are completely different as well, but less of a self-serving role. They help the team and build sentries or heal others. Each of these classes completely changes the world in which you play TF2. It just changes the relationship with each of the classes you have and everything you can do. For example, an engineer doesn't really need to worry about flanking the other team too much, but a spy needs to know all of the ways to get around the map without being detected. On top of the base classes, which are already fantastic, there's subclasses such as Trollger and also, of course, Demo Knight. Both of these and all of the other subclasses being incredibly silly but also incredibly fun. Don't mind my nails. They're kind of, remember that video? I painted my nails for them, and that video, whatever one I did last, and they're kind of, I haven't repainted them or taken them off yet, so we're here in this awkward middle state together. The game's characters are beloved because of the amount of character squeezed into them. You see, most people are introduced to the game via the Meet the Team shorts, which are beloved masterpieces that just encapsulate everything about the character's personality, while also describing a general feel for the gameplay. Whether it be the medic, the crazed German guy without a medical license, or the spy, the backstabbing French bastard, the voice actors each brought amazing character to the performances, just capturing the essence of the characters. Personally, I love Soldier because he says some of the funniest shit ever. However, unfortunately, Rick May, Soldier's voice actor, passed away in April of 2020. The TF2 community and I pay our respects to him. He will forever be treasured by the TF2 community. Despite the age of the game and the age of the voice actors, they're still making content for the community, such as the Sandwich Saga, in which the voice actors go on a saga to find Sandwich. It's quite funny. Outside of this, there is of course also the official TF2 comics, which also bring a lot of character into these characters, as their backstories are elaborated upon and there's generally more time spent with them so we can get to know them. Source Filmmaker, the engine used to create the videos for the Meet the Team series, was released to the public, and this created a large amount of memes such as "The Heavy is Dead," which notably the voice actors dubbed over at some point, and it was hilarious. But there's an entire side of the community just dedicated to SFN videos, such as, memes and also recreations of clips. There's also the creators that use Source Filmmaker to make the start of their intros and stuff, and just general parts of their video while they do commentary videos, such as the intro to all of Lazy Purple's How It Feels to Play series, where he recreates a clip that happened in the actual game in the Source Filmmaker. A lot of the videos in Source Filmmaker are really funny, including Skipping Toilets, which is just some of my favorite work. Such an original, unique concept just brought from this great creation we have. Skibbity Toilet. I mean, just breaks my heart thinking about it, it's just such a beautiful creation. How long am I gonna do this joke? Skibbity Toilet, really up there. Top thing I've ever watched. Skibbity Toilet, episode 69. That was just tear jerking. How long am I gonna keep at this, you may ask? I don't know. Let's see. Skibbity Toilet. My heart goes out to... I've personally watched a lot of TF2 content in my time. Some prominent YouTubers include Soundsmith, Uncle Dane, Lazy Purple, and Jonto Hill. You may ask, who is Jonto Hill? Because he's not as popular as the other three. However, he's a spy main and I'm a spy main, and he taught me a lot of valuable stuff, so I'm including him up there. He's also Australian. Like me, I'm Australian. On YouTube, you can also find discussions of weapons, challenges, all the classic YouTube stuff, MLG compilations like, oh look, I got a 360 no-scope as sniper, and all that stuff, trick stab compilations. Yes, in TF2, there's an entire economy. You see, it starts off with scrap. Scrap is sort of like cents. You can make refined metal out of that cents, which kind of becomes like 5-cent coins. Then of course there are keys, which as of writing this, our key is currently worth about 74 metal. You can of course use this metal and keys to trade with other players on sites such as Backpack TF or just straight from the Steam storefront. You can also go to trade servers in-game and discuss with other players to try and scam them. But of course, a lot of the economy now is just bots, which does leave little room for growth in the economy. That's a lot to take in, of course. That's a lot to take in, but in simple terms, there's an in-game stock market and there's a sub-community within that stock market that tries to trade. There's also YouTubers who try to go from like one scrap to 3,000 keys in 24-hour challenge. I mean, I don't think they actually do that, but you know, similar sort of things. Also, yes, you can show off your riches in TF2 with, you know, generally just taunts, which aren't really seen as rich, and then there's unusual items which can cost a lot. Look at the price of that, dude. I don't want to buy that, but some people do. You can also cash out, which is it leaves a lot of young people or just people in general longing to make a lot of money off TF2 from the free jobs they get. However, it never really happens. Of course, there's also crates, which is basically just gambling. Anyway, next thing. When you play TF2, you basically have like 4 options, right? You have casual, competitive, man vs machine, and community servers. There's of course the other game modes which you can play in casual mode. You see, it's difficult to encapsulate the essence of community servers as there is billions of them. Not literally billions, but a dang ton of them. In TF2 community servers, there are common game modes such as the zombie run thing and the punchy guy thing and the rocket jumpy thing and of course you can't forget the engineer fortress thingy-mabobby. Also, of course, can't forget times 10 and times 100 and times 1,000 and times 10,000 and times 10,001 and of course can't forget times 100,000 times 1 million times 2 million. I don't actually know how many times it goes up to. There's also maps like Walkway which you can use to just practice anything that requires a moving target, such as market gardening or just shooting projectiles. Then there's of course Jump Academy, which you can use for rocket jumping to practice rocket jumping, and there's also one of those which has a market gardener arena in it, which is really fun because you get to just boom market gardener 1v1s, 2v2, you know, whole server free for all market gardener. It's fun. Then of course you can't forget community servers such as Uncle Dane's Uncletopia, which has things like random bullet spread removed so everyone can fire guns and know where they're gonna hit. You know, it's basically just an improved version of casual mode, which a lot of people enjoy. I'm sure there's a lot of things, like the world's your oyster, you could find anything. Okay, my tour here is over. Let's go back to what the original thing was about, you know, the game's death. Death in quotation marks. Recording videos would be a lot less effort if I didn't have a script, then I could just say whatever the fuck I want to you. This is why I like this part, because this is just me telling you to subscribe. Please subscribe, because I do have some interesting, exciting content on the way if you do enjoy what I do now. But if you do think that you only like this video or another video and you don't think I'm going to make anything similar to it, don't worry, I am going to follow up on similar types of games, and maybe even I'll do another TF2 video or something else that gets popular, you know what I mean? Because even though I do just do one death video per game, I am probably going to revisit the videos or do something with it in the future. I might make a different sort of topic about a game, or, you know, I will have multiple TF2 videos in some amount of time, you know what I mean? Anyway, back to the video, please subscribe. Okay, so I've briefly touched on TF2's community. However, I could have said a lot more, you know, notable players, notable devs, notable updates, but we're not here to discuss any of that. We're here to discuss TF2's death. Well, death, because it's not really death, is it? Even though it's old enough to vote and buy a drink in my country, it is, in no way forgotten or dead. There is a very large community who still play the game, so if you do like TF2, go play it. Other people are still playing it. Surprisingly. No, TF2 is basically immortal, so it's probably not going to actually die, but it is kind of dead in the eyes of the developers right now. In 2016, the last major update was released, Jungle Inferno. However, there is claims that the game started dying before that. You see, it used to be that once every 1 or 2 years there was a major update to TF2. However, it's not like that anymore. So, how did we get like this? Well, to be honest, who knows? That's why we're gonna use detective work. Detectives. We're detectives on this channel. That's why it's named Detective Video Game. Right, so we need to think of a couple of theories. Theory 1, there's secretly a third game called TF3. Theory number 2, money. You see, it is possible that the money is just not worth it for Valve to work on the game. However, there is at least 2 contradictions to the statement. First off is that free-to-play didn't make it unprofitable as updates kept happening and it still earned a large amount of revenue. Free-to-play was all the way back in 2011 and it still continued to get consistent updates until 2016. You see, according to Wikipedia, Valve uses a flat structure where employees decide what they want to work on. From what I can gather, this still seems to be the case from today. So basically, the developers at Valve can work on whatever they want, so even if TF2 was unprofitable, it doesn't make any difference to the people working on it. This leads us to theory number 3, the easily most likely one. To be honest, I didn't really spend that long till I figured this out, but I still wanted to keep engagement a little bit. Maybe it worked, you know, it could be one of 3 options, but, you know, only one of them really works. The game, it just isn't that interesting to work on. Theory 3 is that nobody wants to work on the game. You see, first off, we have the source code of TF2. It was leaked and we can kind of see a bit of what went on in there. It's a mess, okay? You can stop showing it now. There's many videos talking about how the TF2 team probably has no idea how the fuck it is functioning. Because, you know, 18 years is a long time ago, so anyone who made these really just barely working systems kind of forgot, and also, like, this is what they have to go off, these stupid code comments, and I don't think they even knew how it worked at the time. Besides, if we look at it from a developer's point of view, right, there's only 100 or something, or maybe 200 developers at Valve. Eventually, all of the older Valve devs will have worked with TF2 at some point and got bored of it just because of how complex it's gotten with bad source code and, you know, all the other stuff. And there's this shiny new games being developed which haven't got shit code. You see, what one looks more enticing to you? Shiny new thing, experimenting with new technology, or washed up, taped together TF2? I'm gonna choose the new one, wouldn't you? Then of course, if you're a new dev, which one do you want to work with? You have 2 options too, but how the fuck are you gonna work with TF2? You don't know how it works. Nobody knows how it works. They haven't even ported it to Source 2 yet. So, why would you do that one? Furthermore, the workplace environment is kind of important, as it's still important to Gabe Newell, the founder of the company, that everybody works, so therefore anyone who isn't productive will eventually get fired. You see, without the boss, without any deadlines, the only way to prove that you're productive is to do something productive, and be seen as your peers as someone who is productive, with bonuses being decided upon by peer reviews. So, if you're a new dev, do you choose to work on the old thing that nobody likes anymore with no one there to give you bonuses, or do you work with the new thing, which is really easy? You have more concrete tasks and, you know, higher chance of a raise and bonuses and stuff. It's not like Valve employees don't get paid adequately anyway. They get paid decently, and from what I can see, Gabe Newell shares the profits equally. Well, not equally, but very fairly. But I don't think that really matters because the bonuses are so big, and even if they don't need it, people want money anyway. On top of this, there can always be a bunch of backlash from the TF2 community. This can be really disheartening if you're only one of the few devs working on new updates for the game. Valve's workplace structure just means that TF2 isn't really given much high priority because the employees don't want to give it much priority because it's old, it's dead, it's terrible to work with, and the community might not like you if you fuck something up. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think that Valve's structure as a company is really innovative and really cool. However, it does lead to some things getting left behind, such as TF2. Now, while I think that TF2 will probably remain the way it is in terms of a development sense, the community will of course grow. I just want to, do that thing where where people give their takes on what a Valve should do as if they care. I have suggestions for how TF2 could be made better, even though nobody cares. So let's go. I think that there are two things you must do to save the game. First off, port it to Source 2, call it TF3, or maybe just Team Fortress Source 2 if you really want to avoid the name 3, because you're see, I didn't say that, you did. And number 2, make a 10th class. You see, everybody's been wanting a 10th class since the day TF2 came out. I don't actually know if they have, but I want a 10th class. I want a 10th class. And who do I think the 10th class should be? Well, I think the perfect fit for the 10th class is Zana, Soldier's wife, and of course, Heavy's little sister. She's fit to be a mercenary because, 1, she has mercenary blood, and also she's married to one of the mercenaries, so make her a mercenary. She also loves killing. You see, TF2 has a bit of a woman problem. Apparently there's supposed to be a 60-40 split in most video games with the amount of women compared to men. However, have you ever noticed how many women actually talk in TF2? Apparently, according to someone on Steam, it's because they are often insulted and demeaned. Which that says something about the community. And sure, just adding a female character won't fix anything, but it's a little bit of a step, tiny bit of a step in the right direction. TF2 really needs to work on that part of the community. Women are people, guys, respect them. And because she's so strong, right, how I think it could work, it could be like Saxton Hill, because she likes punching with the soldier where they punch the bears. And she could be like Saxton Hill, but balanced so that she fits within a team environment. And it could be punchy guy, finally. I mean, I don't think anyone ever said they wanted a punchy guy. You could play heavy, but it could be fun, So that's the end of the video. Yeah, TF2's not gonna die. It's never gonna die, okay? Never in a million years. If it goes offline, people will remake it, okay? So, sorry for titling this video, The Death of TF2. I have 2 more things I want to say. First off, I will be making fortnightly videos now because I am not able to keep up with weekly. And secondly, subscribe. And if you haven't subscribed, keep watching. If you have subscribed, look away. Click off. If you haven't subscribed, you just lost the game. Okay, bye.